They say justice is blind. But when a black man walks into a courtroom, suddenly justice remembers how to see color. Imagine a man, call him David, just walking home from work. He's tired, maybe thinking about what to cook for dinner. A few blocks away, a crime takes place. The police arrive, and because David fits the description, he's arrested. No witnesses place him at the scene. No fingerprints. No motive. But none of that seems to matter. Because when the trial starts, it's not about what David did or didn't do. It's about what he looks like. It's no longer David versus the facts. It's the state versus a black man. And David's story isn't rare. It's a cycle, a pattern. A system that continues to devour black lives with little remorse. Look back at 1989. The Central Park five black and Latino teenagers falsely accused of a crime in New York. The media called them savages. Politicians called for their execution. Their confessions were coerced. Their trials rushed. Their humanity ignored. Years later, DNA evidence proved their innocence. But what about the years they lost? The childhood stolen? The reputations destroyed? This isn't a bug in the system, it is the system. As Malcolm X once said, in America, a black man is always on trial whether he committed a crime or not. The courtroom, which is supposed to be a place of truth and protection, too often becomes a space of humiliation and isolation for black people. Families sit in the gallery and watch as their loved ones are portrayed not as citizens, but as threats to the state. Even public defenders, those meant to protect the rights of the accused, are often drowning in caseloads and resources so thin they can barely keep up. Meanwhile, prosecutors have the full weight of the system behind them. The result? Black defendants receive longer sentences, harsher penalties, and fewer chances for redemption. 2017 report from the U.S. Sentencing Commission confirmed this. Black men receive sentences 19% longer than white men for the same crimes. That's not just discrimination. It's policy. It's math. It's engineered inequality, so let's stop pretending justice is blind. The blindfold comes off the moment a black man steps into the room. Instead of fairness, he's met with suspicion. Instead of dignity, he's met with judgment. And it doesn't stop with one man. That's part of the strategy. Treat every case as isolated, every injustice as a fluke. But it's not. It's a pattern designed to keep people divided, to make us believe each story is unique, when in truth they are all connected, because if they can do it to David today, they can do it to anyone tomorrow. The police, the courts, the entire justice system, they don't just punish. They accuse the victim of being the criminal. The system beats you, then charges you with assault. You get arrested, and suddenly you're on trial for your own survival. Malcolm X said it best. What kind of democracy is this, where the victim becomes the criminal and the criminal walks free? That's not democracy. That's control. And control doesn't stop at the courtroom. It extends to the ballot box too. In Georgia, long lines in black neighborhoods, strict voter ID laws, and purged registrations are not glitches. They're tactics. In 2018, tens of thousands of voter registrations, mostly from black voters, were tossed out over small technicalities. That's not democracy. That's engineered disenfranchisement. While America lectures the world about freedom, it poisons black communities like Flint, Michigan. For years, residents drank lead-contaminated water while officials ignored their cries. That wasn't just neglect. It was a decision that black lives didn't matter when no one was watching. And yet America insists on calling itself the land of liberty, the beacon of democracy. But what kind of democracy treats an entire people like second-class citizens? What kind of democracy builds walls around opportunity and gates around justice? Malcolm X tore through that illusion. He said democracy in America isn't broken. It's functioning exactly how it was designed, built on a foundation where black people were once counted as 3/5 of a human being. And while the language has changed, the structure has not. Justice, equality, freedom, these are not promises. They're privileges handed out selectively and taken away just as easily. The idea that everyone is equal under the law is a myth. And that myth is protected not by truth, but by silence, by obedience, by knowing your place. That's why Malcolm refused to call this hypocrisy accidental. It's not. It's hypocrisy by design. So what's the solution? What can be done when the very system is the problem? Malcolm believed that asking the same people who benefit from your oppression to liberate you is a waste of time. He believed that true equality comes from doing for ourselves what others do for themselves. That means building our own institutions, our own economies, our own communities, not begging for inclusion but creating independence. Look at the Jewish community. After centuries of persecution, they built their own media outlets, banks, schools, and networks. Today, those institutions protect their identity, power, and future. That's not coincidence, it's strategy. It's survival. Meanwhile, Black communities in America have tried to do the same, only to be met with violence. Think of Tulsa's Black Wall Street, a thriving hub of Black business, education, and pride, burned to the ground in 1921. Not because it failed, but because it succeeded too well. Even today, Black entrepreneurs are twice as likely to be denied loans as white applicants, even when their financials are the same. That's not chance. That's system. Malcolm X said it plainly. Stop waiting for the system to give you something it was never designed to offer. Build your own. Start your own schools, your own banks, your own media, your own security. Stop thinking politics alone will save you, because if you don't control your own economy, you'll always be controlled by someone else's politics. Power is not just about who wins elections. It's about who owns the neighborhood, who controls the rent, who dictates police presence. Until you control those things, your freedom will always be conditional. And yes, building something real takes sacrifice. Takes unity. It takes abandoning individual success in favor of collective progress. History proves this works. In 1955, the Montgomery bus boycott wasn't just about seats on a bus, it was about pride, power, and strategy. The Black community organized, protested, and forced change. That's what unity looks like in Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah led the country to independence with the cry of self-government now. That victory inspired dozens of African nations to throw off colonial chains. That wasn't just rebellion, it was rebirth. And in America, the same principle holds true. Malcolm warned us, if we stay scattered, we stay weak. But when we unite, we become unstoppable. That's the real fear of the system. Not protests, not speeches, but solidarity. When one Black man is falsely accused, the whole community stands up. Not just in spirit, but in action, funding legal defenses, rallying in the streets, creating safe spaces. Imagine a world where Black people feel for one another the way others feel for their own. Where a threat to one is a threat to all. Where we no longer see our neighbors as rivals, but as brothers and sisters. That shift, thinking like a Black person, feeling for Black people, is the beginning of something revolutionary. Because unity transforms everything. It doesn't just change laws. It redefines power. It shakes the foundations of oppression and demands a new world. So ask yourself, what would you do if justice was never meant for you? Is democracy still democracy when it denies your humanity? Are you ready to wake up? Or are you still waiting for permission to be free? Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, subscribe and share. Because we're not just telling stories, we're reclaiming truth, restoring legacy, and rebuilding power. Until next time, stay informed, stay proud, and stay united.